Hello, everyone. So, it's Halloween, and I wanted to tell a scary story. This story actually happened to me. Um, so, here we go. so, um, when I was 19 or 20, I can't remember, maybe 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there, um, I lived on 5 acres with my grandmother and my dad. And the 5 acres, the house was kind of closer to the back of the property. The property was actually pretty rectangular, and the house was kind of near the back, but closer to the middle, I guess. And in the back there was a bunch of dirt, and uh, the property was flanked on one side by trees and brush and stuff, and then on the other side it was flanked by a business, a pole yard, and they manufactured telephone poles. And this happened at night. Okay, so I will reenact the scene. So it had been a really hot day, and at night, it gets hot during the day, and then at night it really kind of cools down, but it's still a little warm. So I decided to go out for a late night walk. It was about 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. And there's the house, then there's the garage on it, attached to it, and then there's a gate, and then a road kind of leading to the back of the property. So I walked through the gate, and I'm walking in the back of the property, and it's 10:30 at night, so there's no one really working at the pole yard. I mean, they have a couple of vehicles that they worked them 24 hours a day, moving poles, but the people were enclosed in the vehicles. And I don't know, 20, 30 feet from the house, and in my left ear, I hear a woman's voice whisper my name. And of course, I'm a little freaked out because there's nobody around. I look all around me, there was nobody there. And so I turned and ran the fuck away as fast as I could. Now, my grandmother was gone. My dad was home, but my grandma was gone. There was no one near me in the pole yard. It was empty, and the vehicles were down at the other end of it. I couldn't possibly have heard anyone. It was a whisper in my ear. There was no one else around. There was no one around anywhere on the property. And so, um, still freaked out, I go in and I tell my dad about it. And my dad says, "Oh, somebody must have been thinking about you." His scenario was not spirit, but somebody was thinking about me intensely, and um, somehow their thoughts um, reached out to me in some way. Interesting thought. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it, but interesting. Um, I and it said my name very seductively, and like I say, it was a woman's voice, um, and a cis woman's voice, and yeah, I never really experienced anything at that house. Um, but since having lived there, I moved away from there, oh, maybe 18 years ago, and we had to leave. We were evicted off the property because they sold it to the lawyer. And but a couple of years ago, I started having dreams about the property. And in the dreams, I still lived there, but the house was all dilapidated, and it was kind of falling apart, and it was, like there was leaks, and there was mold, and stuff like that, and it was like this really depressing, kind of oppressing place, but it had this very strange, the dreams had a very strange feeling to them. Like they were, like they were, like it was kind of a creepy, weird feeling, like this really kind of, not necessarily malevolent, but like, I don't, it was this kind of strange feeling that was radiated in all of the dreams that I had about this place, all of them. And that's not a normal thing in my dreams. And so after I had the first dream, I had to go to a town that was near the house, and so I thought I'd drive by the property and see how it looked. Well, the house was boarded up. It had been abandoned since we left, and I think someone had broken in and was, had been living in there, so they boarded it up. But yeah, it, and the same feeling that I had when in the dream radiated from the property as I was driving by. And yeah, that was pretty intense. And I've experienced that same feeling radiating from the property ever since. The house has since been torn down. Throughout the dreams have evolved. So like, I wouldn't see the property, as it's evolving. But I would always see it in the dreams first. And so I had one of these dreams where the house was completely gone. It was like a yard, and there was stuff in the back, kind of behind the house where the house had kind of been. And in the dream, it was almost, in this weird way, it was almost like something was reaching out to me, like giving me these images of the house, like trying to tell me it's all gone. Look how it's changed. It was very strange, very, very strange. Um, and it was always that kind of weird, depressed, oppressive kind of feel. It's so hard to describe, but very unnerving to experience it. That feeling that was associated with the property and with the dreams lasted until not too long ago, actually. Over the past 2 or 3 years, I would have these dreams sporadically. And are the dreams connected to the female voice that I heard? I don't know. But in some of the dreams, especially when the house was still there, I'm actually still living there with my family. but it still has that really kind of creepy, weird feeling in the dream. So I don't know what's going on there. Um, if it were just a dream without the weird, creepy feeling, I might think, oh, well, maybe I'm missing my family. Because my grandmother died 10 years ago, and almost 11 now, and my dad and I are estranged. But this creepy, weird feeling, and how the dreams would kind of show the progress or deterioration of the property, you know. And it was a property that my family had owned for, um, well, for decades. It was, it was an empty lot when they bought it. So they developed it and things like that. Is that, is it some dead family member who lived there who is giving me these dreams? If so, why me? So was that event somehow linked to the whisper in my ear? Was there some female presence at that property that followed me around? Or did it stay there at the property? Is it sending me these dreams? No explanations, just fun little Halloween story. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Happy Halloween.